Hello everyone, welcome to today's class, and our title today is US Literacy Levels Declining. Let's move on to language focus. 1번. Back in 2017, the number at the lowest level was just shy of 20%. Okay, so as you can see, I've highlighted just shy of. So use just shy of to describe a number that is just slightly less than some other number. Okay, just shy of는 어떤 숫자가 다른 숫자보다 조금 부족하거나 약간 모자랄 때 사용하는 표현입니다. 이 구문은 특정한 수치에 거의 도달했지만 그보다 약간 적다는 것을 강조할 때 사용됩니다. So, as an example, our fundraising campaign raised just shy of $1 million. 우리 모금 캠페인은 $100만 조금 미치는 금액을 모았습니다. So did they make $1 million? No, they just made shy of $1 million, meaning, as an example, they made like $999,950 or something like that. Example. Or our school has just shy of 500 students. 우리 학교는 500명의 조금 미치는 학생 수를 가지고 있습니다. So do they have 500 students? No, let's say they have 485 students. So just shy of. Alright, moving on to 2번 now. People at their lowest level are not necessarily completely illiterate, but at best they are only able to read individual words and simple sentences. Alright, so we're going to look at not necessarily now. So use not necessarily to express that something might or might not be true. So not necessarily는 어떤 것이 반드시 사실이 아닐 수도 있음을 표현할 때 사용합니다. 이 구문은 어떤 주장이나 의견이 항상 맞지 않을 수 있다는 뜻을 담고 있습니다. 즉 어떤 일이 사실일 수도 있지만 그렇지 않을 수도 있다는 뉘앙스를 전달합니다. Example, adding salt is not necessarily a good way to make food taste better. 소금을 추가하는 것이 반드시 음식을 더 맛있게 만드는 좋은 방법은 아닙니다. Or, most expensive products are not necessarily of higher quality. 더 비싼 제품이 반드시 더 높은 품질을 가진 것은 아닙니다. Alright. Now, let's look at the language focus quiz. 1번. There are just shy of people in Okay, so just shy of, use just shy of to describe a number that is slightly less than some other number. So remember, just shy of는 어떤 숫자가 다른 숫자보다 조금 부족하거나 약간 모자랄 때 사용하는 표현입니다. So, example, there are just shy of 10 million people in Seoul. I think there's like 9 million something. So 서울에는 1천만 명에 조금 미치는 인구가 있습니다. 2번, has just shy of Let's say this company has just shy of 10,000 employees. 이 회사는 10,000에 조금 미치는 직원 수를 가지고 있습니다. 3번. is not necessarily the best way to So not necessarily. Remember, use not necessarily to express that some might something might or might not be true. Not necessarly는 어떤 것이 반드시 사실이 아닐 수도 있음을 표현할 때 사용합니다. 이 구문은 어떤 주장이나 의견이 항상 맞지 않을 수 있다는 뜻을 담고 있습니다. 쭉 어떤 일이 사실일 수도 있지만 그렇지 않을 수도 있다는 뉘앙스를 전달합니다. So, let's say cheating is not necessarily the best way to get a job. So, 부정행위가 반드시 좋은 직업을 얻는 가장 좋은 방법 아닙니다. Is not necessarily going to, Let's say the project is not necessarily going to be too difficult, but a little challenging. So, 이 프로젝트는 반드시 너무 어려운 것은 아니지만 조금 도전적일 것입니다. Alright, now let's look at the further discussion. 1번. What is your opinion regarding flunking students who are unable to read at an appropriate level for their grade level school year? 자신의 학년 수준에 맞는 읽기 능력이 부족한 학생들을 낙제시키는 것에 대한 당신의 의견은 무엇인가요? What is my opinion on regarding flunking students who are unable to read at an appropriate level? That's a hard question. I guess I think that obviously you have to learn the basics of reading, writing, and mathematics, etc. I do think you need to at least know the basics before you move on. You know, not all, when it comes to like higher level mathematics, higher level, English, like poetry or whatever, I don't think that's necessary. Or the really intense mathematical problems, I don't think that's necessary. But when it comes to like the basics, I do think that's very important for people to know. But yeah, I mean, I didn't do great at school. I was not a great student. I was very distracted as a student. I'm surprised I even managed to get a degree, to be honest with you. But I think that you should at least have a basic level of reading, writing, arithmetic, and mathematics to finish school, in my opinion. But other things like difficult maths or difficult English, I don't think is necessary, in my opinion. 2번. Is it wrong for teachers to focus on memorization and test-taking skills? Give reasons in your opinion. 교사들이 암기와 시험 기술에 집중하는 것이 잘못된 일인가요? 당신의 의견에 대한 이유를 말해 주세요. This is a hard question. Memorizing and test-taking skills. It's actually kind of stressful to think about. I honestly don't know, to be honest. I do think there is probably some advantages to memorizing and test-taking skills, but I don't think it's everything. I do think what I will say is that I think Korea's educational system needs to change. I think they put too much pressure on the students for 수능. I think they rely too heavily on 수능 to create the students' future, which is, I think, not fair because it puts too much pressure on the students. For my daughter, I'm going to tell her that 수능 is not the end of the world. If you don't pass or if you don't get the school that you want, it's not going to be the end of the world. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't try doing something, but it just means that there are other ways to make a good living. But I just, I just think that for Korea, the pressure that they give students to memorize things and to, learn test-taking skills is just far too difficult for many students these days. So, do I think it's wrong? Kinda, yeah, but I do understand that there might be some sort of benefits to it as well. But that really just depends. It's hard to say. It really is hard to say. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's class, and I'll see you on the next class.
Literacy.
Literacy.
Illiterate.
Illiterate.
Vicious cycle.
Vicious cycle.
Underfunded.
Underfunded.
Miss the boat.
Miss the boat.
Get up to speed.
Get up to speed.